Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Songwriting Highlights. This is a show where I play a song and then I tell you a little bit about why I think it's a good song. In keeping with the spirit of the global protests that have been happening over the past few weeks against police brutality, the song that I chose for tonight is I Ain't Marching Anymore by Phil Ochs. It presents a really interesting component to the concept of defunding force within society. His version speaks to the military, but now we have a militarized police force in much of North America, especially the United States. So I think this song is very applicable.
I marched to the Battle of New Orleans at the end of the early British War. The young land started growing, the young blood started flowing, but I ain't marching anymore. I killed my share of Indians in 1,000 different fights. I was there at the Little Big Horn. So many men lying, I saw many more dying, but I ain't marching anymore. It's always the old to lead us to the war, and always the young to fall. And look at all we've won with a saber and a gun, and tell me, is it worth it all? I stole California from the Mexican lands, fought in the bloody Civil War. I even killed my brothers and so many others, but I ain't marching anymore. And I marched to the battle of the German trench, in a war that was bound to end all wars. I must have killed 1,000,000 men, but now they want me back again, and I ain't marching anymore. It's always the old to lead us to the war, and always the young to fall. Well, look at all we've won with a saber and a gun. Tell me, is it worth it all? I flew the final mission in the Japanese sky, set off the mighty mushroom war. When I saw those cities burning, I knew that I was learning that I ain't marching anymore. And the labor leaders screaming when they closed the missile plants. United Fruit screams at the Cuban shore. Call it peace or call it treason, call it love or call it reason, but I ain't marching anymore. No, I ain't marching anymore.
So that was Phil Ochs' 1965 song, I Ain't Marching Anymore, off the album I Ain't Marching Anymore. Tremendous album of folk protest. I think he called it topical songwriting. Phil Ochs was an interesting guy, very talented, very smart. During the 60s and 70s, he wrote hundreds of songs and produced, I think, 7 or 8 albums at least. By the end of the period, he came to the conclusion that the general populace wasn't going to really pay attention to protest music unless it was within a popular format. So he shifted radically and tried to release popular music. It didn't go so well. There was a lot of tragedies in his life. He drank a lot. He abused uppers and downers. And he was attacked, and I believe, I'm not sure if this is, someone might want to check this. I didn't see it on Wikipedia, but I've heard that he had his throat injured or cut while being mugged in somewhere, I think in New York, near the end of his life. And after his career essentially was terminal and he seemed to be going through even more of sort of a manic depression or a bipolar sort of issue, he killed himself. He hung himself in his sister's home, allegedly with his own belt. So it's a pretty tragic tale. Now, the song, I think, is infinitely relevant now when we think about defunding the police, which, as I said before, have been completely militarized. So the idea of the song is that it's about a soldier who's been through, it's sort of almost like the ghost of all American soldiers, narrating through all of the different American wars, and there is no end to these wars. And I mean, the guy died in the 70s. I'm not sure what year, but this song is from 1965. And we think about how many more wars there have been from 1965 to now, 2020. It seems pretty astounding. So the idea of defunding the police and the idea of I Ain't Marching Anymore kind of go hand in hand. The apparatus of violence sort of has to make the change, has to make the decision that they don't want it to be the way that it is, and hopefully there's enough pressure now to do that. Anyway, that's my rant about Phil Ochs' I Ain't Marching Anymore. Thanks for watching. Go out there and write a song. It's easier than you think.